vaccines. I think it's the greatest thing in pediatrics ever, because I see how many lives we saved, how many lives we lost back then. And I lost patients in my practice from some of the infectious diseases.
Paul Offit says that the vaccine schedule that we have now have extended life expectancy of the U.S. population by about 30 years, which is amazing. It's not just helped the kid that didn't get meningitis and died, it's helped everybody. And then you must have been practicing. I remember, because I have a sister that's 16 years younger than me, when the pharmaceutical companies stopped making vaccines because of litigation.
That's funny. I don't remember that. I never remember there being a shortage of vaccines in the 70s or 80s, the 90s. Quite honestly, I don't remember that at all. Always got our vaccines. It was never an issue, never ran out. The companies were good. Obviously, when there were a group of us who we had these ped pharma councils, about 10 or 12 of us were around the country who came together. I was approached by one of the major vaccine companies to bring people together, and then the others asked to have their own sessions where we sat down and talked with them. The fact that today you get a discount if you pay for your vaccines within the first 30 days, that came from our group. We really made an impact. I know one person who became a vice president of one of these huge international companies credited us for getting them that advancement because they liked the input we gave him. It was good common sense. It was good for the patient. It was good for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I do remember, because my youngest sister is now a lawyer and she lives in New Jersey. She couldn't get her child, like DPT and polio, because the pediatrician downtown in DC couldn't get it. And that's where they created this special court for vaccine litigation and the forms and all of that. I thought
I never knew that.
I thought it was the pediatricians got tired of not getting paid, but it was, they were being sued. Merck was being sued, and they were like, we don't make that much money off of polio vaccines, and we manufacture them. There's no patent on polio vaccines. If we keep getting sued, we can't afford to do this anymore. And that's where the Vaccine Liability Act came about, which has allowed them to produce these very good drugs without the fear of getting bogged down in thousands of litigation.
Yeah, but today the vaccine, back then, I think the vaccines were what, $3, $4 a dose.
Yeah.
Now they're $300, $400 a dose. That's a lot.
Yeah, but again, a house in a nice neighborhood in the 70s in Montgomery County, where my dad bought his house, is one of the nicest counties in the DC metro area. You could buy a 4-bedroom house with a 1-car garage, great schools for $100,000 in the late 70s. Today, that house, you can't get into a house in that neighborhood for less than $1 million. You can't compare $2 back in 1970 to $400 today. Inflation takes a toll, and the cost of doing these things takes a toll.
Yeah, you're right on that. So I guess things have changed. Things have changed in the examination room, in the office, and everything. We went from treating acute care injuries. Now we're more into chronic care conditions that take a long time for the physician to deal with. Obesity, behavioral health, anxiety, depression, ADHD. Pediatricians in general want to provide high quality care. But how can they do that and still stay in business? What do you think?
ADHD, what is that? Never heard of it before.
The thing that every other kid has.
For me, learning disabilities, ADHD has been I call it a subspecialty interest of mine. I had my own child study team where we evaluated kids for school systems as well as privately. Things have certainly changed. You still have your common illnesses. You still have to worry the occasional scare. The kid comes in with a stiff neck and 103 degrees and, oh my God, could this be meningitis? I hadn't seen it for years. More and more, dealing with psychosocial issues in the practice. Obesity is absolutely horrible, but you can do it. Now, you need to spend more time with the patients in order to do this. And the question is, how do I get paid for that time? So as we all know, CPT coding has been around 35, 40 years in this country. It's evolved tremendously. Back in the late 80s, the AAP nationally he asked for volunteers from every state chapter to come and learn about this new CPT thing. And the codes then, there were, I don't know, a handful of codes that we were all supposed to use back then.
Mhm.